Hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me. Tonight I'm with Stu and Glenn again. We've just been having a chat amongst ourselves really about what's going on for each of us in our research areas. And Glenn touched upon something that I thought we'd better record because it will touch a nerve with quite a few of you because you've been through the same thing. Research areas where you get lots of good sign, you're finding footprint, you're getting closer and closer, you've built the relationship up over a number of months, even years, that are suddenly bought, posted as SSI, posted as private, built upon. I mean, Glenn, if you don't mind explaining what you found today when you went down to your area.
Yeah, well, it's the biggest place local to me, within 10 miles of me, and I originally started researching there because of that, because there's plenty of wood there, and it's accessible for me. Not many people go there, so it was perfect, beautiful place. Now, on the other side of a main road is like the other half of this wood, and that's where I originally started 3 years ago. But after I'd been there about a month, 2 months, they shut it up completely. It was part public, part private, and there was loads of signs in there. The first couple of videos I did were from there, and I was really lucky because all of a sudden, from knowing nothing, starting from scratch, first wood I go into, loads of sign.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant. But like I say, after the first month, 2 months, they closed it and turned it into a triple SI. I think it's a site of scientific significance, something like that, isn't it? So you can't go into it now. You have to have a permit. I'm not sure what body you have to go to, but you can't get in. So I moved to the other side of the road, and that's where I went today. And I've been going there on and off for 3 years. I haven't been there since the end of December, and half of it's just been chopped down. There's about a mile long by a quarter of a mile wide wood, and I would say at least a third of the trees are just gone. And this place, again, it was full of all different types of activity. I've had stone clacking there, footprints, and just so much sign. And that's all God. They've kind of, I can't hand on heart say that they've deliberately picked this particular place because that's where all the sign was, but it's a big coincidence.
Yeah.
That's just gone. Nothing's there. The bone on my thumbnail, on my picture, that tree which is right next to the path, that's gone. So yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
I know you said, sorry for jumping in. I know you said it seems coincidental, but just to kind of put your mind at rest, I can think of so many people that have been in the same situation, myself included, where you've worked an area for so long that you know it inside out. Very unusual that something that's posted as SSI, that means that there is an animal, bird, plant, or resource in there that is of special scientific interest, which would probably mean it's on the endangered list, or it's incredibly important for some reason. And normally, if it's an animal, they wouldn't cut right up around it because the animal wouldn't just use that area.
Yeah, right.
Use the area across the border. So I find it really strange, first off, that it's been cut like that, because that tells me they're going to build on it or something. If they completely took every tree away.
Well, it's not a place you could build on.
Right, so that's off the list.
Yeah.
So they can't build on it.
It's on the side of a hill, to be honest. So there's only a path at the top. Yeah.
What type of trees?
I was just going to say, it's not like it's a pine. It's been planted for
Is it
being.
mixed?
It's all oak. Sorry, it's not all oak. It's all British.
Yeah, mixed.
Mixed.
See, we're not supposed to be cutting mixed woodland down. That's what we're short on. That's another thing that surprises me.
Big trees have been there for a long time.
I mean, I doubt they're going to use the trees for building, because most, what they call the exotic woods like your oak and that, they come from the Balkans now. So all your oak furniture and your oak doors, that comes from Bulgaria now because it's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And if it's an old oak or an old tree, it'll be protected. So what you've got is young oak, and that's not really what you want for building anything, because it's not that tall yet, it's not that useful yet. I mean, you know yourself, because you both work with wood.
Yeah.
So a mixed wood, it's not being logged either, is it? So it's not being built on. It's not clear-cut logging.
No.
It's also, it's the wrong time of year to remove any wood, because everything's building a nest. Everything's mating, everything's looking for a habitat. So that's the entire habitat, at least a mile long, that's been taken out. For your hedgerow, your insects, your spiders, frogs, newts, the whole 9 yards. Really, really strange, but it's not the first time I've heard it. There's a very famous case in the UK where the gentleman didn't get in touch with me, he got in touch with the newspapers, and he said that he saw a wild man eating. And this wild man used 2 sticks. Within a month of that area was posted as SSI, which means, as I said to you, that's an area of scientific interest. 18 months later, it was sold private. So is there a scientific interest there or not?
Yeah. I'll have to actually, it's not crossed my mind until you started saying this, find out what particular species or plant has it been
why is it been declared an SSI?
Yeah, must be able to get that info.
It just puzzles me, because I can think of so many. Cloddy Moss is the same. Culbin Forest, the ongoing situation there where we're getting to the point where she's actually seeing figures. Next thing, logged out. Logged out. And it took about 18 months for that. So just to start to come back, in all honesty, closer to home. But for me here, I got to that stage as well. And I was able to follow footprints all the way back to about 200 yards that way, pointing out the windows and pointing now. Might be able to see how black it is out there. Right, so over that embankment, the woodlands, I'm finding footprints. And one day when I found them, it's marshy ground.
Right.
So really soggy and marshy. And when you step in and your footprint fills with water.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And between that, there are mine pits that are filled with water that are incredibly dangerous. So nobody walks over that. You just don't do it. Well, myself and my daughter, she went over to the back and she found them. And then she followed them all the way back to our house. And the next thing over the embankment was my garden shed. And she said that as she put her footprint in, it filled up at the same time. So whatever it was not that far in front of her. The next thing, there's 500 houses built on it. It was just heartbreaking. Askew Woods is another one. Yeah, Askew Woods in Norfolk. Same thing again. Consistent dark shadows seen, howls and whoops, stones thrown. People in the area not wanting to visit the wood because it's haunted.
Yeah.
The next thing, there's talk is like Bigfoot around the area. There's another one sold for private. It's posted as private. You can't access it anymore.
Be interesting for people in the chat or commenting when they watch this to let us know if they know of anything else similar.
Because I had an entire, as you know, before we got talking, I said, right, this is what I wanted to cover tonight. And then when you started saying what had happened down there, it was like, no, this is what we need to run with, because
yeah,
there is a massive thought at the moment. Does the government know? Have the government got any idea? And I, hand on heart, can't answer that, because I don't know whether, and you don't know whether the government know or not. But that means that 50% means that they do, and 50% means that they don't. So we have to take this they do into account.
Yeah.
Theoretically, speaking out loud as mates, could they be buying up small pieces of land, marking them as SSI while they inspect them, and then when they've got what they want from it, posting it as unknown, as private, so you can't go on it anymore, can't access it anymore?
It's possible.
Is that a tinfoil idea, or is that something that bounds for you too?
No, that rebounds with me, Deb. I mean, you know, what happened? You remember the 1948 case with the doctor, where they had Dartmoor, that was it. Yeah, where they had well, how was it described? Hair covered caveman.
Yeah.
No, what happened? What happened to him? He got taken away in a van, didn't he?
Yeah, by 10 military police.
Yeah. So what happened to him? Where did he go? You know, I think they know. I can't prove it, and I don't think and we'll ever be able to prove it. But I think.
Yeah, I mean, I know people think that I am so far down the hippy dippy route that I don't even think that there are government conspiracies. Of course I do. I have witnesses that suddenly have MIB knock on the door and tell them that they're not allowed to talk about what's happened. They're not allowed to talk about the area. It's been an escaped animal and they don't want to upset the public. Kind of hinting at the fact that it might affect the job because they're in public office. If they talk about it, I've got witnesses, and I can't name what position they are in because I promised them that I would not do that. But they're in quite jobs where they've seen something either at work or during their work that has absolutely terrified them, and they've reported it to senior personnel. And we can go across all of the serving forces in the UK. There's Army Salisbury plane 2000. George, can't remember his name now, serving soldier on manoeuvres, sees a hairy ape-like creature run out from the bushes. He's driving his tank. There's loads of other. There's reports up and down the UK of them on military defence land, reported by what we would call government servants, let's put it that way. So they must know, because people are making, boss, you're not going to believe what I've just seen. Even if it's only in that sense. But can you, throwing a question out there, have you noticed a pickup at the moment on helicopter activity at home and out in the research areas? Lots of people are talking about it. They'll be in the research area, and the next thing, the helicopters going above the head.
I haven't been able to get to my research area, Deb, because it's a 40-mile drive. But out at sea, I mean, you know, I look out my living room window, and the next thing, you know, it's ocean, and then, you know, Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark. Yeah.
So, but I've noticed a lot of military helicopters up and down the coast. I would say for a week now. I haven't seen any transport aircraft. I haven't seen any you know, fixed wing aircraft at all for about a week now. But military helicopters, a lot of. Now, there is an exercise going on at the minute up at Otterburn training area, so it could be something to do with that. But there's a lot of helicopter activity out over the ocean at the minute.
Yeah, I've not noticed any. I've been out around my village most days this week, and I've not noticed any, to be honest.
Do you mind if we chat about some of the strange things? Well, they're not strange things, really. Once you start to research, and you research one area, it comes in tiny, for some of us, it comes in tiny, small pieces. You get one little bit, and then you move on, and then because you've got to the stage where your gifting's going great, you've managed to find print, you've had a bit of a shaky experience.
Yeah.
But what went on this weekend, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it was. Now, so I've actually got two places. The place I mentioned earlier, which is about 8-9 miles away from my house. So that's where I first started because that's where the biggest set of woods are. But as just outside my village, there's a new wood that was planted in 2000, and I just popped in there because I checked all the woodland around near me for sign. So I went into this wood. It's half a mile from my house. Not expecting to find anything, and I started finding the odd sign. So more and more I've tended to go there, and this is where I've started gifting. And the other place is being neglected really. I've only going there kind of once every month, 2 months, something like that, 6 weeks, not as regular. Whereas I'm in this wood at the minute, I'm in it every day. But during normal times, I'm there at least twice a week. And I mentioned when we spoke last time about the shaking bush. But this week, I was walking out from the same area as where I found the footprint in January, which is there's a stream that takes all the water from all the local farmland out of all the drainage ditches and what have you. And I spend a lot of time around up and down this stream because I think they use it as a kind of path to get in to the wood, but also to travel through the wood. And I was walking out of there. It was really windy, and I had the classic feeling that there was something to one side of me, but also something matching my steps.
Yeah.
So I thought, we've heard it 1,000 times, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I waited and stopped suddenly, and there was another slight step.
Caught it out.
And that was it. My heart was going 10 to the dozen. I was thinking, there could be something there now. So I carried on walking, and I could hear it to the left of me.
Oh, he's gone.
Come back.
And then a load of hedge on the other side, and it was behind this hedge. And 3 times I heard it, and as I left, it was really windy. I heard this massive pop, massive crack. I kept thinking to myself, it's a tree breaking, or you try and put it's something there out your head and try and fathom what else it could be. But there was no sound of any limbs breaking, or so it wasn't like a branch had blown down. Wasn't that windy. So I think I got the classic being followed just to the side of you as I'm leaving the place, and then as I'm kind of getting out of there, just like 20 yards from the stile that takes you out into the country lane, a wood knock. So say, he's out of here now.
All clear.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at it anyway. But there was definitely something to the side of me.
I would agree. And I don't know if Stu agrees with me on this one. I think maybe you have them using a lot of the area, and you've been incredibly lucky, and you found one place, and as that place is dying off because of whoever it is that's doing something in that wood, it is chopping it, you've managed to pick up on another part of the route, and we're here, oh, this is interesting. I'm just going to follow him and see what he's doing. Sometimes that stalking behaviour, it could be, because we can't say for sure, that they're just watching you to see where you're going, and they're making sure that you go the right way. It could be a sign of intimidation, as if to say, I will remove you from this area, or it could be curiosity. We don't know, do we? Just haven't.
I didn't get any bad feeling. Any kind of any negativity was kind of coming from me, worried more than feeling a bad vibe.
Yeah.
And it didn't have to follow me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because I'm walking a straight line. There's only one way out, really. I'm just thinking that he was making him or her was making me aware.
Yeah.
This is like been building up and up for like 3 years. I've been there now.
Yeah. I think maybe they're starting to accept you. Because I've no doubt at all they'll recognise you now, Glenn.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll know you now. And, they'll have read your vibe. They'll know you're not there to do any harm. I think maybe they're starting to accept you.
I'm thinking that, yeah. I've had the ongoing gift in there now for like 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I go in, I'll leave an apple, which is about 9 foot up in the tree, wedged into the crook of 2 branches.
Oh dear, it's that Midlands Wi-Fi. His free Wi-Fi's not working.
I come back. Did I break up there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Every time I come back, the glyphs change to something else. One of their own designs. So, then the footprint recently.
Yeah.
It's just loads and loads of little things kind of escalating, very slowly. I've no doubt that they're there. Right, yeah. I mean, how long have you been at that place, Stu?
Researching it 5 years, but I've been visiting it for about 10 or 11.
Really?
From first starting researching there, it's sort of every now and then it'll ramp up a little bit and then level off, and then it'll ramp up and level off. And the more I go, the quicker it ramps up.
Right, yeah.
If I visit 4 times in a month, it seems I feel them and get little hints that they're there more. If I don't go for a couple of months, it's like taking a step back.
Right.
It takes time for things to build up again. But I'm sure that us long-term researchers, when we're visiting the same place time after time and going in the same way and coming out the same way, they recognise us.
Yeah, they must do.
Yeah, and they know we're not there to cause any trouble or invade the place or try to dominate their area. But I'm absolutely 100% convinced they recognise us in the areas now.
Yeah. Do you gift?
Yeah, I do. Cookies, strangely enough, oatmeal cookies or oatmeal flapjacks.
Why
not? They're very, very popular. And what else was it? Cinnamon.
Marbles. Yeah, you do the marble thing though, don't you?
Yeah, but I use like the big marbles or like that, Just to be sure it's not a magpie carrying, magpies are like for shiny things. So I'll leave some. I'll leave 3 blue and 1 green in a pattern. And the next time I go, the pattern will have changed.
Right.
I'll put it back to what I left it, and I'll go back, and it's always the green one. The green one vanishes. It's always the green. The blues, it's always the green marbles vanish. And so next time I go, I'll take another green marble, make a pattern, and then the green one will vanish again. So I don't know what it is about the green glass marbles, but that's the one they always seem to take. I've even tried putting, 4 blue ones, and green one out altogether. And
you hear people say that they love blue, don't you?
Yeah, I've heard, I was going to say that I've heard that there's something about the colour blue that they like.
So let's kick that one out the window, mate.
Well, it might be. This is the odd one out. we're looking at it from our point of view, maybe, and this is just a maybe. They're on the other side of it going, right, what does he want me to do? Does he want me to put it there? Well, no, because he's put it back together the way it was in the beginning. Right, does he want me to put it there? Well, no, that's the wrong answer. You could have two minds not knowing what the communication is, but what's important is the communication itself. It's not the gift. It's like when you meet somebody and you present them with something, you're kind of offering them more than friendship, aren't you? Saying, look, you can trust me, I'm a nice person, you know, I've brought you this gift. It's not the gift itself, it's the exchange of the gift kind of thing. I think that's incredibly important in the situation, because to get any activity gifting, you've got to build up a level of trust just for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's not as easy as, I remember speaking to both of you in the beginning and saying, I know it feels like you'll never get anything. And I know it feels like you've been out there so many times and you've not got something, but you don't know that you're not being observed. You don't know that each time you're out, you're being watched. And then the little tests will start. And the little tests do start. And I think it's to see how we'll react. Whether we'll come back with an army and people with guns and move them out there, whether we can be trusted or not. And then if you're lucky, in some of the long-term habituations, you're able to expand on that through generations. We're in very early learning stages, aren't we, of what's correct etiquette for a researcher in an area. What do they mean by the things that they do? Are they trying to tell us to go away? But they wouldn't be interacting with you in that kind of curious way of changing a pattern or taking something away and returning it. If I honestly believe that if there was any animosity, it happen instantly.
Absolutely.
I don't see why they would bother to put the time in to create relationships, other than obviously, because I've got to put things across the board. So I'd say other than to entice you in kind of thing. But it's been more than a year for both of you. So they've had an whole year. If they wanted to get you, they could have took you at any point. And then they've had that times 3 or by times 2 or whatever. So it seems to me strange that they would put that work in if they were suddenly going to bite your head off next Tuesday when you go. I think where there are attacks or there are people who go missing and it's really hard to say because we just don't know, do we? But I would imagine that would happen instantly. If we can say they were acting in an animalistic way, that you would just pray to them, it would be an instant thing and it'd be done. You've got a reason in mind that's interacting with you, this mind that can reason. So there must be a purpose in why they interact with you.
That's right. I mean, I go into my area like totally alone, and it's pretty remote. Now, if they wanted to kill me, 20 years time, somebody would find me rucksack, and that would be, that would be it, wouldn't it? But to me, the marbles, it's like playing a game of chess. I'll put it in that pan, and I'll come back, and it's moved. So that's their chess move. So I'll move them again, But, when I started leaving little food gifts and nothing was happening, they weren't getting touched. And I remember saying to you, Deb, I'm having no luck here, with the food. And I remember what you said to me. You said, well, if you were walking through the woods and you found a packet of biscuits, would you eat them? Like, well, no, of course not, because you wouldn't know. How long they'd been there, if they were okay to eat.
If there's a trap involved.
I
said to other people, if you came home and there was a pie on your doorstep, would you want it for your tea? And you'd think, who's put that there? Why is that there? And I would imagine they're exactly the same, So it doesn't even have to be food stuff, so does it? Because I have to say to people, you don't have to gift with food stuff. You can do a pattern of leaves or, weight them down with a stone that you found or something and see if you get any interaction in that way. And just handy tip, take a photo of it. So next time when you go back. And that way you can build up like a journal of how many times it's changed, like you've done, Glenn.
Yeah.
I mean, touching on that, there is, if anyone's in BBR and they want to have a look at some of the finds that people have, we have started updating the Google album, and you can just email me and I'll send you the links to the album, and feel free to share your own. I'm trying to move everything that's coming to BBR over the decades across to the Google album, so people can see like the footprints, the strange glyphs that we find, the strange structures, all the things that people send in, like the days in trees, the deer legs, all of that. Get that into a file that anybody, whether the YouTube, Twitter, wherever it is they're coming from, they can access those images and go, right, well, if it's in here, then it's worth looking for, because I'm not going to put any, what I decide is bushcraft, and no, I am not the judge and executioner, but if I know that that is bushcraft because I built it myself, I'm not going to put it in. And then they can say, well, because we touched on it before about making mistakes. We all make mistakes. I've made hundreds of mistakes trying to get to where I am now. And I say to a lot of them, oh, don't apologise, don't worry about it. You know, it's not the end of the world. You know, you can rule that out now and move on to more strange anomalies. And you start to get your eye in, don't you, all the time?
Yeah. It's just learning and experience and sorting the wheat from the chaff, isn't it? You know, we've all got to learn. You know,
it's absolutely natural. It's like handing a baby a lemon. They're going to smell it. They're going to touch it. They're going to mess with it. That's what kids do. It's how they learn. And it's supposed to be fun. Research is not supposed to be pain in the ass. You're supposed to be out there enjoying it. That's why we do it. It's a good excuse to get out in nature as well, you know, and do the things that you like doing. So to me, I just think, kind of lost my thread. I've lost my thread. I was thinking about being out, actually. I've not been out for so long. I was trying to remember the last time I went out and what it was like for me when I was out there, because it's all dried up for me. There's nothing happening here at all. We found the excellent structure, exactly the same thing. We'd had the footprints, we're getting noises in the woods. My granddaughter, we didn't even know. She's walked them fields her entire life. And we didn't even know this stream was there, let alone the structure that we found on it. And she's big, obviously, because she knows what I do, and all kids have a phone on them. She filmed it. She was just out walking the dog, but they walked the dog for miles on the field. And she found it and filmed it. And it was a typical, what I would call a decent shelter. You couldn't see the stream. The bushes were that high and touched it that much. It just looked like a bank. You didn't know that the stream was behind there. The only reason she found it was because the dog went under, and she was like, how am I going to get him out? And there was just this little hump. And as she went in, she was in exactly what you were talking about. It's a runoff for the fields.
Yeah.
So you've got this dead low stream, quite high-sided banks.
Yeah.
And tucked amongst a load of rhododendron and mixed woodland is this, all weaving with vine, still green.
Yeah.
You know, none of this A-frame stuff. A typical, almost domed in shape.
Yeah.
And you could tell it had not been used because there was burdock had grown up there, so it had not been used that summer at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there was definite new growth.
Yeah.
Within probably 3 or 4 months of showing me that photograph, that land was bought and posted as private. And there's a big, massive metal gate on it now, and we can't go on there anymore.
It's a shame.
So, we were talking about mistakes, weren't we? So, even for me, being down there and knowing it as I know it, I've made mistakes. I walked past so many arches back in the day. Didn't realise it was only talking to other researchers in America and places like that, and they were photographing them. I thought, oh my God, I've watched past so many of them. And like the large X's, I had no idea about any of that. Because I wasn't looking how to research, I was looking to find somebody else to say, I know what you saw, I know exactly what you saw, and you can write it off now. So I had to learn the same way as everybody else is, and I'm still learning now. Because once I think I've solved something, then it'll throw me for a loop again. Off again. A couple of years ago, you'll both remember this, I went to Phillips Park Hall with Rob and Darren Howe.
Yeah.
Found an intricate structure, and it was absolutely amazing. You couldn't tell it was there until you got into it.
Right.
Well, Mark went back to film it for me.
Right.
Just as we got locked down on the Monday, the weekend before, so my birthday weekend, he went back to try and film it, and it's gone. It's all been razed to the ground. There's not a bush. There's not a tree. That's why I wandered off when we were talking, because in my head I thought, hang on a minute. When we was in Phillips Park Hall, that had all been clear cut.
Yeah.
And it's a similar kind of setup. You've got that little stream that winds down at the bottom, little sandy bank stream. It's lovely. It just ripples over it, probably only about a foot deep.
Yeah.
And these two steep-sided embankments that are thick mud. So as you try to climb them, you just slip in and slide in. But a definite walking route between them. I managed to get it on video. I'll put it up in the Google album so people can have a look at it. There's a definite walking route through it, leading to that shelter and back, but there is not a tree or a bush, and it's a nature reserve.
Right.
It's unusual if it's been all been brushed away and it's a nature reserve.
Three of them: Clifton Country Park, Drinkwater Park, and Phillips Park Hall. There's a Beverley Brook that runs around all of it, and the Irwell attaches to it. So it's 3 interlocking nature reserves. It's a very big, long corridor that you could move. And where I live, it's like this.
Yeah. So
it's on the edge. So when I'm talking embankments, it's embankments. You're quite high up. When you're up there, you can see all the way to Manchester when you stand up at the top.
Right.
It's immaculate. And then there's just this raised area where the den or structure was that we found was there. It's just every bush, every stick, every twig, it's gone. And you're thinking it's madness, because these notices up telling you about the rare birds that are there.
Yeah.
And what's nesting there, and that the otters have come back, and and on the other hand, they're raising it, and it just
doesn't seem right, does it?
No.
Are these areas getting raised as area denial?
Like moving the homeless, just get rid of all the dens and all the den shrubbery that they can hide in.
Mm-hmm. Right, sounds like area denial, that, and then is that like in Glenn's case, raise that bit of woodland to get them to use the other bit of woodland on the other side of the road that's private, with the SSI on it. I don't know.
It's a lot of old Ministry of Defence land that's been turned to nature reserves. So like Alconbury and Bempton and places like that all across the country. Even Holcombe up here, where you've got creature reports on the MOD land that suddenly becomes a nature reserve and is of SSIs of special scientific interest. The other word you'll hear is ANOB, and that's an area of natural outstanding beauty. So places like the Wolds, South Downs, the big areas. Colleges own, Oxford, Cambridge, some of the bigger colleges own a mass of land, and you have to get a permit to go in and out. And with some of them, because they'll have very rare old tree species, or very, like these places in Wales where we've actually got a desert, a very small habitat of a desert, a natural desert with lizards and the whole 9 yards. People don't know about it. But if you look it up on Google, Wales Secret Desert, you'd be amazed at but you have to be walked in with a warden, and you are walked out with a warden.
Right.
So you can't, there's lots and lots of areas like that in the UK that we are not allowed to use, where you've got to apply for special permission.
Yeah.
And you've got to have a reason, like you said, like the WRVS are in there and things like that. It does seem, and I've got to be honest, I'm just going to throw it on the table, it does seem like there is this, hang on a minute, there's loads of activity here, let's close that down. Hang on a minute, there's loads of activity here, let's close that down. Let's get it, you can't go in there because of this, and you can't go. It's like we're being corralled.
Yeah.
We're only allowed to use these very small, and now, right, you're all indoors kind of thing. So you're only allowed to use these little pathways. So do they know? Are they? We don't want people in there seeing them or getting attacked, or we don't want people in there making friends with them, regardless of how they're looking at it.
Yeah.
I think what I'm sure, and I'll get my numbers wrong, but I'm sure there's over 50 national parks in the UK. I've probably got it wrong, and it's if you add them all in together or something like that. But it is extensive when you put in Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, the wild places that are marked as private that you can't go on.
Yeah.
You know, and they could be mooching on them all day long, and we don't know because we can't get on there.
Yeah, that's
it's the easiest way of covering it up. You've got, as I was saying before, MIB. You've got researchers who have, like you, Glenn, a number of different areas where they go. So they've got loads and lots of small little woods. So they're not really sure where they're going to go when they get up on the Saturday morning and think, oh, I'll go to Area B this time, because they set off and they go, and there's a car there that they recognise from the last time. Yeah, it's disappeared. The government have got him. But basically, the last time they were there was this particular car.
Yeah.
So the next weekend, they think, right, well, I'm going to go to Area C this time. And when they go, this particular car is there again. That's cropped up a few times for people.
Yeah, we can't prove it, but I've no doubt that the government know that.
Yeah.
And maybe it's, maybe they're worried that, if people know there's big hairy bipeds running about, it'll damage tourism.
God, yeah. Yeah. Or do the opposite, do the absolute opposite and just make money off him by, look at this amazing specimen we've got, sending teams out to find him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are recorded instances of DNA and things like that in America. I've never heard of it in the UK, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some in a private collection somewhere. I don't know about that, but that's there's lots of reasons, isn't there? It could be like both of the reasons that you said. They don't want somebody carting off by an 8-foot biped. They don't want you to know there's an 8-foot biped because they won't even admit to the cats, and we all know this big cat in the UK. And the Freedom of Information docs where it mentions 12 werewolves and upright figures. So there's written, astounding, and paperwork kind of thing is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they not even admit to the big cats, even though, farmers have shot big cats and they've got the bodies and they'll still not admit to it.
They've got DNA. They've got leopard DNA. They've got 3 DNA samples in the UK. One of them's Lincolnshire. One of them's Devon. I can't remember where the other one was. I think it was around Hull, where it is leopard DNA. So,
well, I mean, the Ministry of Defence sent a section of Royal Marines. Was it Dartmoor years ago? And that they're not going to send a section of Marines.
Just something they don't believe in. Yeah.
That they don't believe in. It's a waste of resources and a waste of money. But it's one of those things they'll never admit to it.
I mean, moving on a small bit, they might. If it's, let's say that they don't know, let's just be in all ignorance and say no, they haven't got a clue. They've no idea. The articles about Bigfoot sightings and creature sightings are now hitting the newspapers.
Yeah.
They're on the national papers. I mean, there's been a number of stories done on me over the past few months, and the guys down in Hull. So it's there. It's been talked about in the media. There's YouTube channels discussing it, like mine, that are discussing it quite openly. There's websites out there about cryptid reports in the UK and all of the 9 yards. So it's going to become an even bigger and bigger subject. So even if we unrealistically said that they've no idea, you can't ignore it forever, like the UFO world. You can't just deny it if it's a much more growing thing. And one of the things I wanted to touch on while we were talking is, at the moment, obviously, people who are allowed out are key workers, and drivers is one of those key professions. And it's brought a report forward from Market Raisin, which is in Lincolnshire, if I am correct. Just off the River Bay, again, just off the river. Typical, very similar to where you are, Glenn. Lots of farm fields, lots of drainage ditches, lots of small, intricate woods.
Sorry, where did you say Market Raisin was? Lincolnshire.
Is it Lincolnshire?
I don't know. I'm just sorry.
I'm sure it's Lincolnshire. Lincolnshire Wolds.
Sorry, Deb. Go on.
Just south of the Lincolnshire Wolds, it is.
Right.
So it's just off the River Bay. There's lots of farm fields, crops, small woods, country lanes, that kind of thing. A number of B roads, the odd A road.
What rural is Lincolnshire?
Sorry?
Lincolnshire is very rural, isn't it?
Yeah. So very similar kind of thing. And you've got a gent on, forgive me, it was either Monday or Tuesday. My days are running together at the minute.
Oh, no.
Either Monday or Tuesday night. Got hold of me and said, I've had a report come in. He's a BBR member. So 5 years ago, this gent, and I'll tell you his tale in a minute, would have not known A, what to call it, or B, where to go with it. So in the last 10 days, we've had 2 reports.
Right.
The first one who made the report is up in Scotland, in Goldsby, right up near Inverness, in the middle of nowhere. Makes the report. He's out collecting firewood. He said he hears a clang on the gate. Wouldn't normally pay any notice, but he's thinking, hang on, nobody's supposed to be walking around. We're not supposed to be, if lockdown's on, we're not supposed to be out. Amazing, curious. So he never used the word Sasquatch or Bigfoot or anything like that. He said there was a really tall, muscular figure that I could see walking away from me. So he's got the back view of it. And he turned on and he looked at him, but it was about 300 yards away. And he said, other than it being a strange area of time at the moment that we're going through, you wouldn't have paid a blind bit of notice to it. So I said, how did you find me? And he said, I just Googled strange upright figure in the UK, and you popped up. So I made the reports. I thought, that's good. People must be finding it much easier. So same situation, a guy, and he's out driving. He didn't mind being named. He's called Marvin. He drives for a job. It's about 8:30 at night. So just as we've changed the clock, so it would have been on dusk, going dark. He's got his headlights on. And he said what he would describe as a typical Sasquatch. He said he could only see the back and the side of it, but he saw from head to toe. So it's upright, it's about 8 feet tall, completely hair covered. The left-hand side, he said he could see the back and the left-hand side of it. And it, like you get the country road as it goes down and the embankment was in under the trees. Yeah. It stepped down in there and it disappeared. So he pulls the van to a slot and looks, and there's a dead rabbit there. So he doesn't know if it was mid-process of killing the rabbit or it had found a bit of roadkill, maybe.
Yeah.
The vans, there's been no cars on the road maybe for an hour. It's dark, country lane at night, and next thing he's come along.
Yeah.
He said that's what it kind of felt like to him, that he'd disturbed it, going about his natural business. So my mate's into all that stuff for last game. I don't really know, but there's these 2 guys, they have a team, paranormal researchers, and they're a member of BBR. So they take sighting reports. So the guy spoke to them and they spoke to me. And then obviously I've taken the report kind of thing. So it would seem that with less people out in the UK at the minute, I thought we'd get no reports.
Yeah.
But the complete opposite has happened. Which threw me for a loop, because normally this is the time of year when new reports come in. I do say, don't it? It was quiet like October, November time, and then mid-spring it'll pick up. So on a normal year, I would expect something around about this time of year. Then I normally expect something around about August, because you don't get lots and lots and lots of current reports. So, and I said, basically, how did you know to call it a Sasquatch? Well, it's everywhere, isn't it? There's kids' cartoons about them, there's television programs about them, there's podcasts about them. It was quite easy. And I thought, as the climate changed that much, but it's gone from nobody knowing about it.
Yeah.
And even in the short time, not a short time, I mean, me and you've known each other at least 3 years, haven't we, Glenn? Changed massively in just that amount of time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, America now, it's just the norm, isn't it? I think I'm getting that feeling.
Yeah.
And like you say, that just the way that
Oh, he's gone again.
Yeah. I think the wood folk will be wondering where everybody are.
But yeah, I think the general public are definitely a lot more aware than they were before.
He seems to be.
Still a real niche, isn't it, in Britain, to be honest?
Yeah, it is. It still is, but what I'm finding is people are less and less shocked and more interested when you tell them what you do. And as I was saying to you, I'm going to do a live feed next Sunday, so like Sunday the 19th, about 8 o'clock, just to do a catch up for the members and let them know the new reports that have come in, and just we've had to postpone the meets, but we're going to pick them up again as soon as we're out again. We're going to pick up, just start off where we was, and we've had so many new people join. I think because they're at home and they've noticed what we do or whatever. We've so many people join and say, I haven't got any experience with cryptid, but I know with paranormal stuff, and I don't mind helping you out on the paranormal cases. Or, I don't know me Bigfoot, but I know Dogman stuff.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So more and more people that I can send witnesses to. Massive resource behind us at the moment. It's unbelievable. And Jeremiah the same. Jeremiah's taking American reports.
Yeah.
So these new reports coming in that way. It's growing massively, I think, and I think over the summer and as we get towards autumn, I think it's going to be. I really think it's going to be a popular subject. Let's put it that way. I think people are looking for something new. They've done the paranormal stuff, and a lot of them are saying to me, I'm into me paranormal stuff, but I've had running footsteps. I never thought about it in that sense before. But we were in a woodland setting when it happened. Or, I was out and I was on a research night. We're doing these EVPs, and we kept getting wood knocks.
Yeah.
And, until you've mentioned them on your show, never even thought that it might have been something different. So there's a lot of that going on as well, which is ace.
Yeah.
And don't ever get a job as a security guard or a driver because at the moment they are the majority of me witnesses. So if you get offered a job as a security guard in a mill, just say no, because it's not going to be a good night. I'm telling you. Yeah, I've had a load of them come in, because they're out there watching the CCTV cameras and they're seeing weird stuff.
Yeah.
Some of them are making reports to the boss, and suddenly they're not allowed that piece of video anymore, and make sure you've not got it on your phone. A lot of that's going on. Yeah, it's been really strange. So I've had some right good reports come in, so I'll share them in the live feed, and obviously we'll be in the chat. And if anyone's got any questions, they can jump in and ask us, can't they? And they can ask us whatever they like. So let me think. I've got everything. Have you had your letter? Has everyone had the letter about staying in?
Yeah.
Letter from the government about staying in today. I know I wrote my show down on the back of mine. But I have been gardening. I have been. Mark set the back garden up for me. So he's got, like an old metal shelf that's all got all squares in it. So I can sit and do my planting, and then he puts it on. And if he waters the top, the water goes through to the next shelf and then through to the next shelf. So I've been keeping busy with that, watching the birds. We've had a mountain of birds come in. Wildlife's definitely coming back, isn't it? It's noticed that we're stuck inside. Did you see the goats? Yeah.
To the full moon?
No, I didn't see the moon. I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I saw it. And I saw it out over the ocean. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
See, that's where we should have a meet near Shoes one day. Let's have a coastal meet.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
I was watching, when I came in yesterday, there was a pod of dolphins in the bay.
Oh,
what? 2 minutes running now. Yeah.
I need to put that in my life.
A bit of a watching going on, isn't it?
So, where's the first place you're going to go? Because I'm ready for beach. As soon as you say, right, you're out and go where you want, I'm going to Ainsdale Beach with the dog.
I'm going to research.
Yeah. Where are you going, Glenn?
Right, having
I tell you what, Wi-Fi is bad. I think it's everyone who's working from home and stuff in it at the minute. Yeah, it's not working out well for him. Yeah, he's back. Yeah. I want to get my tent out. Can't wait to get my tent out.
Yep.
Cannot wait. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The saddest thing about Bolland was Mark had got all the gear out to check it over. And as he was going through it, we had to cancel, didn't we? So, yeah, I know. A few people have emailed me and asked me and said, "Oh, you're going to do it again?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I am. As soon as we can, we'll book it and we'll nip up and do it, and we'll still do the Nottingham one because, like, you might be able to make that one, won't you, Glenn?"
Yeah, it's not far at all. Yeah, that's perfect.
And there's enough sighting reports down there.
Yeah,
Definitely. Right. So if that's okay with you guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Don't go anywhere. And I will say good night to everyone, and we'll be back Sunday. And when you're watching this, we'll all be in the chat. So good night, everyone. I'll speak to you next week.
Good night. Take care.
Cheers.